So today I just want to start a new series of reviews of the books that I've read, which is not many. And we'll start with the first book. Well, it's not the first book I ever read, but it's one of the ones I read recently. So it's still relatively fresh in my mind, and I can actually talk about it a little bit. And before we do that, dude, today I learned live and live is the same word. It's spelled the same thing. I didn't know that. That's kind of weird. Anyways, so back to the book. The first book I read recently, it's called Male Role Model by S.A. McKinney. I don't know why I decided to read this, honestly, other than the fact that I kind of want to, I guess, learn how to be a better person, and be a better role model for my future kids, or, yeah, actually for my kids. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm lacking in some area sometimes. Anyways, the book, if you even call it a book, it's actually 50 pages. It's like a pamphlet almost. The book overall itself is really good. It's more about covering the basics of the characteristics of a typical male role model. It doesn't go into detail as much, like examples of specific things that you should do and stuff. It's more like a general picture, but overall it was still very good, to give you like a basic idea of what a good male role model would look like. And and it was a very easy read. 50 pages. I think it took me like 3 days. Except I didn't read it continuously 3 days, but like 3 days throughout like 2 weeks, I think, and I finished this. And it's good, and plus, like, the letters are like huge, and it's double spaced too, so it's perfect for me. Require minimum effort. I love it. If every book is like this, it would be so easy, man. But anyways, I just want to go over some of the things that I read that I found pretty useful. I took some notes on them. So, like, a lot of not a lot, but some of the characters I feel like I already have decently, but there are certain ones that I feel like I need to work on a little bit more. So one of the first things is use appropriate modesty and is respectful of others' modesty and privacy. Yeah, sometimes I might be a little bit unappreciative of other people's privacy, and sometimes I'm not as respectful for other people too. And that comes in all different forms, physically, emotionally. And the next thing I found useful is appreciate, gracious, grateful, and thankful. Appreciate and value the qualities, contributions, and input of others. Basically the same thing as don't take things for granted. So next point that I found was to be patient, but repeated irresponsibility will not be tolerated. And I think that's very important. I think being patient is a great trait. It helps you deal with people a lot easier. However, you should not allow repeated irresponsibility on the other person's part. And you should stand up for what you believe in, and you shouldn't like let people walk all over you, basically, if it happens. And he respects his wife and women in general, and respect others' opinions and way. But a key point that I wanted to underline here is that showing respect does not mean he always agrees. And I think that's very important. sometimes I often find myself agreeing to certain things that I actually do not, or maybe not as passionate about as the person who suggested it. Now another thing that's pretty interesting is that a man should be devoted, put the family first, and stand behind them, and self-sacrificing. I think I already have a little bit of this trait. I underline it just to remind me, basically, that you have to be responsible for your family or your loved ones, but you should not be responsible for their feelings at times, because they need to also learn how to deal with it themselves. And they have to take the responsibility of themselves too. Next is always love unconditionally. This is pretty important too. I feel like sometimes we do things for our loved ones and we go in with an expectation of what it will be like, and oftentimes they could fall short of the expectation, and we blame them for acting that way, even though it's not fair for us to have an expectation and going into something, and we basically set them up for failure almost sometimes. Now obviously you should show appreciation to whatever kind of form of love your partner is trying to show you, but you shouldn't have a, I guess, predisposed expectation that this is how he or she should act if I do this, because people show appreciation and love in different ways. And another one is, it's better to teach and give constructive advice to show a way than just to criticize. And I think that's more important for dealing with your kids, because it is. And I can't wait that one day where I can teach my own kids on how to deal with situations morally and ethically correct, at least in my opinion. And I always found it pretty useful to have constructive advice and not just criticism from my own dad, which he struggles with, but you learn from real life, I guess, examples. Next one, you should be real. What you see is what you get. No hidden agendas or random, unexpected surprise changes in attitude or behavior. It's pretty self-explanatory. And I think that's also very important, because this is what I expect of my partner too. I need the real person, right? That's what you want. You want an honest and real person, not just a random person that's gonna change their attitude one day and then go on a lam the next day or something. So honesty is a pretty important thing too, and you should never try to be someone that you're not, because sooner or later it'll backfire on you. But anyways, so that was a good book that I read. Those are some of the key points that I felt like it was important to talk about. But yeah, more books to come, I guess. This one was pretty short, so we'll see. Next one is really long, actually. This book, oh my god, look at this crap, man. Like single space and it's like font 9, size 9 or something. Man, this one's gonna take a long time, but whatever. I'm still also reading the Jordan Peterson one. It's kind of boring, honestly. It's philosophical to a point, and I don't know. It's a little boring sometimes, but I'm struggling through with it, so we'll see how it goes.